am the Witch of Jasmine, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a reading for Aquarius moons. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. I just realized I forgot to take my cards out of the boxes. I forget to do that sometimes. There we go. Hold on, let me take these out of the boxes. Okay, let's continue. So, as I'm shuffling out these cards, I invite you to take some deep breaths to ground yourself and center yourself. Okay, coming out very nicely. I love it. I remember for our last reading, there was a lot of earth energy. I think the main message was just like taking that time to ground yourself and just like enjoy the little things, enjoy nature. So I hope you've been doing that. I'm curious if that'll come through again in this reading. So far, it kind of feels that way energetically. It kind of feels like kind of chill, but like good. But I don't know. Let's see. Aquarius moons. For our oracle card, we have flexible. Nice. All right. For our tarot cards, we have Knight of Wands reversed, Four of Swords, the Chariot, the Tower reversed, the Wheel reversed, and Six of Pentacles reversed. So starting off, we have this Knight of Wands reversed above this Tower reversed. Knight of Wands is about, with wands, it's associated with the fire element. So that's all about passion, creativity, working hard towards something. So when we have Knight of Wands, he's somebody who works really, really hard towards his goals and works with that like fiery energy. So when it's reversed, it's like doing way too much of that. like working really, really hard towards something, but almost in kind of like a destructive way. Okay, the only comparison I can really think of that's really coming to my head is a wildfire. I know now is a really bad time for wildfires, so I'm sorry, but it's just the only comparison that's coming to my head. But if you can imagine like a wildfire, right? Like there are controlled wildfires or just controlled fires in general, but Knight of Wands is when it gets out of hand, right? And how these dangerous situations can like grow very fast and very big very quickly. That's reverse Knight of Wands energy. But we have the Tower below that reverse, and the Tower... the Tower is a pretty infamous card. It usually signals like a big kind of destructive event happening. I mean, usually the story of the Tower is that this big tower crashes and burns and just gets completely destroyed, but it's so that you can build something better, build a better tower, right? So when we have the Tower reversed, it's like trying to avoid that, something is coming to like an end or is some sort of situation like that. It's like something's coming and it's probably, I don't want to use the word bad, but something that might be uncomfortable to go through, might not be very fun to deal with or to handle. The Tower reversed is putting that off. Like trying to do what you can to fight that thing from happening. You know, like maybe a relationship that you know is just not going anywhere and is not doing well, but you also like can't really get yourself to cut it off. You know, same with like a job. Maybe there's a job that's, you know, the company's heading in a bad direction, or there's new things happening and it's getting worse and worse and worse, but you kind of can't really get yourself to just quit because, well, that's going to be a whole thing too, and you don't really want to deal with that. So putting these together, that's what they mean. I think there's something that, and I don't want to say it's bad, because the thing with the Tower is that like these bad things happen, but it's so that something better can come, so that you can build a better tower, right? It's just going through it can be really tough and difficult. So I think you are kind of fighting tooth and nail for that to not happen. That's the energy that's here. Trying to fight that back and be like, well, maybe this job isn't so bad. You know, maybe it'll get better. Maybe if I talk to this person, maybe if I just shut up and just put up with it, like it'll be fine. It's not that bad. But it also just progressively keeps getting worse and worse. And this wildfire just kind of keeps growing bigger and bigger. And it's not really, it's time to put it out, you know. We do have this Four of Swords here, which is about rest. Again, above the wheel, reversed. So the wheel as a symbol, it's an old pagan symbol that kind of represents the wheel of life, I guess. But essentially how the wheel, you know, turns up and down and up and down, represents how in life we have our ups and downs, you know. So when it's reversed, it's kind of that down point, where a low point, you know, where things just aren't feeling too good, you know, you're kind of struggling. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I do think that this is chronological. So that means this happens, then this happens, then this happens. So when that's the case, obviously because this is a general reading, I mean, the viewer may be anywhere in this timeline. Just place yourself wherever you think you are in this timeline, because everyone's going to be in a slightly different spot, you know? So anyway, so I think once this tower does come crashing down, then you'll kind of be in this spot where things are not feeling that great, you know? It's rough. And I think resting is a good idea. I kind of get the feeling that that's going to be like what you want to do, is just rest and take a step back. But I think it's what you should do in this situation, is kind of just take some time for yourself, time to reflect, time to really make a good decision about what your next step is, where you want to go from here. I think that's really helpful. But the other thing I forgot to say too with the wheel is the point of it is that it is constantly turning, right? So there are these times when we're feeling low, but eventually it'll go right back up. And then it's going to get low again, but then it's going to go right back up. You know? It's continuous. It's the way that life is. It's the way that it is for everyone all the time. And I say that not to minimize what you're going through, but because it just means that you'll get through it. You know? This is tough. These are pretty harsh cards. These are pretty... they're not fun. But you will get through it. You will. Moving on. We've got the Chariot and Six of Pentacles reversed. So to me, that means that once you've kind of gone through this resting period, whenever you do move on to that next step, it's going to be very quick moving. I mean, just using a job as an example, that's the example that's in my head right now. You know, whatever happens with this job happens, whether you quit or whatever, then you take this time to kind of rest, reflect, think of what it is that you want to do, or just kind of take that time for healing, whatever. But I think once this part kind of ends, when you go on to the next step, things are going to be happening very quickly. The Chariot is about like fast moving energy. So I think that indicates that, again, with our example, if you are like finding a new job, it'll be relatively, I'm not going to say easy to find a job, but at least quick. We do have the Six of Pentacles below that though, reversed. Six of Pentacles is about charity, but when it's reversed, it means that there's some sort of like a selfishness or stinginess, you know, the opposite of charity. Or it can mean that there's charity, but it's for bad intentions. So I think it's just kind of a quick little warning. Not anything super crazy, just like a little warning that when you get to this point, in order to like keep this energy moving nice and quick so you can move on to the next thing. Again, I highly emphasize, after this, when you're here, watch out for any selfishness that might be with you or with somebody else, you know. The main message of Six of Pentacles is to remember to give to others and be charitable to others. Not even necessarily just with money, but with love, support, help, all of those kinds of things. Remember to be giving to others who are in need, because it could be you. It could be any of us in that position, you know. And you shouldn't give with selfish intentions. You shouldn't give with manipulative intentions or anything like that, to hold it over somebody's head or anything like that. It should always be with kindness. Not because you are above somebody else and you are this great hero for helping others, but because we are all equal and anybody could be in those times of need at any time. And I don't mean that to give you anxiety. I'm just saying, like, it's any of us can be in that position at any time. So it's important to help each other out like that. So just a thought to keep in the back of your mind. You might need to think about that a little bit when this time comes. And then, of course, getting back to our Oracle card, Flexible, it's all about adapting to change. Well, the way that this card is described is being like a tree, right? Where a tree will sway with the winds, you know, when there's a storm or like a hurricane or something, it'll, you know, sway with the winds. It doesn't just like stand still, but it's still very firmly rooted in the ground, right? Being able to adapt to change will help with all of this. That's just something to keep in mind. So anyway, Aquarius moons, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you got something out of this and maybe gave you a little bit of clarity. It's tough, but I believe in you. I'm sure you can get through it. It just isn't fun going through it. I understand that. But if you have any questions, please let me know. You can leave a comment or you can just reach out to me, whichever you prefer. The best place to reach out to me is on my TikTok at The Witch of Jasmine. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!